done their best to keep the warehouse and shipping business running smoothly, and me and my serving girl, Lou, have been caring for my beloved grandson while she does so, as well as seeing to my poor husband's needs. I am plumb wore out, and I am missing the help and comfort of Kenneth's manly presence. I am distraught, sister, as you can well imagine. I wish that Kenneth had not had to take hisself off on the eve of Lester's death. Lester has no family but ours, and he loves Kenneth like the son we never had. It will be mighty sad if he goes to meet Jesus before Kenneth returns. I have asked our mother and father to come from Lone Elm to be with us, but they cannot come here for a while yet. I have also wrote to our brother George and sister Elizabeth, and I write to you as well, Alafair, asking that you join us here in Enid for a spell if you can. I expect you need not stray long from home. Lester's so weak that by the time you get this letter he may already have gone to the gates of heaven. Please come, dear Alafair, so Lester may see your welcome face one last time. I know this is a busy time on the farm, so if you cannot come, please join us in prayers for Lester's eternal rest. Your loving sister, Ruth Anne Yeager. Alafair replaced the letter into its envelope and slipped it into her purse before she resumed staring out the window. She didn't look forward to the inevitably depressing visit with her sister, though it never occurred to her to demur. She knew from her own bitter experience that during a crisis nothing could shore up a person like having her family around her. Ruth Anne had been right about one thing, though. It was a bad time to leave the farm. Harvest was still going on, and school had started not long before, which robbed Alafair's husband, Shaw, of a large part of his workforce. 2 of Alafair and Shaw's 10 children were married with homes of their own, 2 had paying jobs in town, and 1 had just recently begun college. But of the 7 who still lived at home, all but Grace were old enough to have their own responsibilities. She stared absently at the brown country passing by. A long, dry summer was coming to an end, and everything looked tired and thirsty, drooping in the dusty heat. Still, there was a smell on the wind, a heaviness in the atmosphere, which told Alafair that a change was on the way. Her half-Cherokee mother-in-law was predicting a very cold winter. The squirrels were storing nuts in August, and the bark on the trees was particularly thick this year. Grandma Sally was seldom wrong about these things, and Alafair had already begun putting by extra fuel. The train made a long turn to the northwest, and Martha's hat slid languidly from one end of the seat she had vacated to the other. Alafair retrieved the hat and placed it in her lap. She was glad that Martha had volunteered to join her on this trip. Not only was Martha an excellent traveling companion and good company, but having her along as a babysitter had made it possible to bring Grace. Though she was sure that her older children were perfectly capable of caring for the child for the few days that Alafair would be away, Grace was not quite 3 and had never been apart from her mother for any length of time. As happy as she was to have Martha along, Alafair was surprised that she would consent to take 2 weeks off from her job as secretary to Mr. Bushyhead, manager of the First National Bank of Boynton. She was even more surprised that Mr. Bushyhead would let Martha go for so long. In the 3 years that Martha had worked at the bank, she had made herself indispensable. That fact did not surprise Alafair in the least. Martha was the most naturally efficient person she had ever known. Grace pounded down the aisle with Martha close on her heels and threw herself across her mother's lap full of news. "It's beautiful, Mama. Martha put paper all around the seat." She was frantically pulling imaginary paper off a roll, hand over hand, and padding an imaginary circle with it. Alafair was amused. Martha must have lined the seat 6 inches deep with paper, if Grace's pantomime bore any relation to reality. "And then, after I potted, Martha lifted me up so's I could pull this long chain. It made this big whoosh, and water come down, and a hole opened up, and we could see the ground. There was tracks going by like shup, shup, shup. I couldn't hardly..."